Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and finally it's time for a match review. Probably not the best match to review upon return, but a win nonetheless, a match nonetheless. Celtic are back. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. Ross County 0, Celtic 2. We remain 9 points clear at the top of the table as we head into next week's Derby game. A game which now could pretty much decide the ultimate fate of the Premiership title this season. But we're going in high spirits, and despite today not being the best performance you'll see all season from Celtic, once again speaks volumes of the way that we get the job done. Do you know what? I was thinking to myself through the game, is it like a mark on how bad the rest of the league is, or how good that we are, that even when, I would go as far to say maybe we were at our worst today. You know, it's pretty poor in terms of domestic football. We've not seen us play much worse all season. And, you know, even when we're that bad, we still beat teams, and teams can't get near us. You know, is that a mark on how poor everyone else is, or how good Celtic is? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide that. But as I'm saying, you know, even when we are as poor as we were today, we still managed to dig deep and find 2 goals and find the 3 points. And that's ultimately what matters. It's what champions do. We need to dig deep in these sort of games. And it's always hard, I think. I hate the first game back from the international break. I always feel like it's, even if the performance is good, I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, it's always like we play poorly, and then somebody digs up that we've won 6-0 the last 3 times it's happened. So I'm not going to say that, but what I will say is, going into it, I always look forward to them being back, but I never look forward to the 90 minutes. Because I always feel like there's always international break fatigue, and you don't know who's going to be continuing on form from before the breaks, and I always just feel like you're going in with everything kind of up in the air after an international break. So I'm just happy that we walked away with the 3 points today. There is a lot of things to be critical about, and I think from today's game, there might be a lot more of a kind of pessimistic outlook on things in regards to some people's opinions, but overall, I mean, how annoyed can you be? We're still 9 clear, and that's the one thing we had to avoid today was dropping points. Rangers won yesterday. The pressure was on us to go and make it a win today. If we didn't, then, you know, say we lost today, we could have been going to Celtic Park next week with Rangers having the opportunity to make it a 3-point gap. So we had to win. We had to get the confidence right up there and pick it up from where we left off. And that's exactly what we've done. So let's do this how we normally do it. We'll go through the start to the end of the game, starting with the team selection first half. Team surprised me, actually. Not for any bad reasons, because Maida was back in the team, and I didn't expect that. I think on the podcast yesterday, all of us predicted Haksabanovic to be starting on that left-hand side, but Dyson Maida was in there, which was nice to see. Everything else pretty much expected. It was nice to see Awata get into the starting lineup. We expected that on the podcast as well, but yeah, it was a surprise to see Maida back in the first half performance. These are the games I really hate reviewing. I really hate doing a reaction to these games because it was a poor, let's be real, good winning, happy with it, not going to complain. We dominated the game, but it was pish. It was a rotten game of football. It was. And the first 45 was enough to send you to sleep, to be quite honest. We'll come on to the big talking point in a moment. But I just thought Celtic were very timid, is the word that I would use. We didn't look like we had the same cutting edge that we normally do. Yeah, we had a lot of the ball. Yeah, overall today, we made 28 chances. 28 shots on goal, 9 of them being on target. It's not like we didn't make chances. But we were just very timid. And I thought that when we did have chances in the first half, it didn't look as though we wanted to take them. You know, it just felt like we were doing everything so kind of relaxed and kind of with this feeling almost that we knew the goal was going to come. And I think in doing that, we just looked very timid. That was the word that I would use perfectly to kind of capture the feeling of the first half. But nonetheless, we did find a way. And wow, that's going to be the talking point for the next few days, isn't it? We may as well move on to it. The penalty. It's going to drive this country around the bend for the next few days. It's all that's going to be on the back pages of the newspapers and the front programs on the bulletins. It's, yeah, I think it's harsh. I really do. It's very easy to grab a still image of the incident and say, okay, that's a handball. Because it is. Technically, it is. It's a handball. But it's harsh. You'd be fucking raging if that happened to you. I think it's harsh anyway. Do I think that it's going to be worth the conspiracy theory shouts that are going to be shouted about for the next few days? Probably not. But we're going to have to just deal with that and move on. Listen, we have been subject to many a controversial and conspiracy-like decision this season against us. It's about fucking time we got some for us, to be quite honest. But it is harsh, I think. I mean, listen, the ball comes in, the defender is following his man, his arm is in that position, and the ball happens to... It's not like he's kind of guided his arm towards it. The ball has landed in an unfortunate position on his arm. We'll be given a penalty. I'm not going to complain. We needed it. It was a good way to break the duck right on the break of half time as well. Did I say break the duck? Break the duct. Anyway, right on the break of half time, we needed it. It gave us a bit of kind of comfort heading into the second half, you could say. But it is harsh, and I can see why Ross County will probably feel hard done by, and I can, see why it will be all over social media. I'm not on Twitter just now because I can't get logged in, so I'll get to avoid it, thankfully. But, I've already heard about the Vatican assistant referee calls and everything else on the follow forums. And it is going to be spoke about for days. I was surprised Willie Collum gave it. He did give it. And that's the thing, if you're looking at it as black and white, it's a handball. It comes in, it hits him around this kind of section here on his arm. And what they say is a handball is anything from the shirt sleeve down. It hits him here. That's below the shirt sleeve. So it technically is a penalty, yeah, but I can see why it's harsh, and I agree that it's harsh. I would be gutted if we considered that as a penalty. But we move, I'm not going to complain. We get the goal. It puts us in a nice position heading into the second half. Second half, once again, wasn't great. I thought we were a little bit better. We definitely looked more threatening, I think, at times. We could have had more goals. A couple of stinking misses. Kyogo's miss, I'm not here, I hate over-exaggeration. I want to talk about that in this video towards the end. I hate over-exaggeration, but that Kyogo miss, I think it's the worst miss I've seen all season, and for a long time. That is a terrible miss. Kyogo's amazing, but how is he missing that? I know he's got a poor miss in him from time to time. That's really bad. That's a really fucking bad miss. Not exaggerating. That he has so much time to tee himself up as well. He's standing free, got the whole goal to shoot into from about, 8 yards out, and he sticks it wide. It's that way he's just overthought it, hasn't he? But it's a shocker of a miss. And we had tons of chances where I feel like we just should have and could have scored. Laidlaw made a good few saves. But, I just thought we looked a little bit more frightening. But still that same sort of timid side to us in the second half that I thought we just couldn't really shake. But nonetheless, we got the second goal. So that ended it. We had to wait late again. You think about it. Ross County were quite unlucky today. Because both goals came with 5 minutes of stoppage time being played in each half, 45th and 95th minute. Some strike, good first goal for Bernabe. I hope that gives him a confidence boost. Hope it does him the world of good. Good assist from Jota, considering he was vacant in the game. I go on an assist from Jota, you'd think, that must be a good game. He was fucking rotten. Yeah, a terrible game, Jota, I thought. But yeah, we get the second goal, we get the job done, wrapped up. And just comments have just been published to the BBC. We'll go to that in a moment. But yeah, listen, I can't complain. 2-0, up the road, job done. Now, one point I do want to pick up on very quickly is overreaction and defeat. And I'm not going to go too deep into it. Might save it for a video tomorrow or something like that. Yeah, a lot of people getting carried. I've not got Twitter at the moment, and I'm glad I don't, because I've seen some screenshots sitting into the chats and stuff of people having wild overreactions. I hate it when we play poorly. Listen, today I'll say it as bluntly as I can. Usually I come on these videos and I say there's not a bad performer in the park. It's hard to pick out somebody who was bad. Today it was hard to pick out somebody who was good. I thought O was good coming off the bench. Really liked him. Thought he looked great. Thought Maida looked like he was working hard anyway. He did make some sort of impact in the game with his pace and energy. And I thought Johnston, Taylor, Vickers, Hart were all fine as well. Everybody else didn't really stand out. Nobody really stood out, to be quite honest. It was one of those games. But I hate when we play poorly because there's such an overreaction, and certainly it's like, because we rarely have something to complain about. So when we do get something to complain about, we take it next level. I've seen calls for people to be sold. I've seen people saying, look, listen, Matt O'Reilly, one of the ones from today that stood out the most in terms of his negative reaction online. I get it. He's not stood out massively for a long time. It doesn't mean we should ship him off all of a sudden. He's a cracking player. I think he's got the most assists in the team this season. Yeah, it doesn't look as though he's been as effective as of late than what he maybe was this time a year ago. But it's not calls to get him out the fucking door. I think that's a bit much, and it's the same with other players, not just O'Reilly. And I hate that when we play poorly, because it feels like, you know, we've not moaned about something for so long. Let's fucking pile this on. But we won. So let's all smile, be happy. We've got a derby next week. We're going to build it all week on this channel. Huge game, of course. The chance to basically, effectively seal the title, if it's not already sealed for some. Yeah, so like and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you all next time.